should we do? How do we do it?
Yeah, you do have the wine key. We were just gonna, talk about the fact that this is like a super cool project started by some friends that went to school together. They went to UC Davis. Sean Angulian and Diego Roig got together with a guy named Sam Barone and a woman named Martha Stuman. And they were, basically trying to find a way to make wine in this very expensive landscape that is Napa, Sonoma.
So they got into it when the land was like super expensive. So they were trying to like find a place.
It's been expensive for some time. I think it's just, imagine like just getting out of college. You're
Right.
like, okay, how are we gonna we've just been studying wine. How are we gonna do this? So then they built they created a co-op.
I love co-op.
Yeah, so they started this co-op called the Living Wine Collection, basically where they could work together with different farmers and use each other's like resources and such. And then they kind of broke off, and the Shant and Diego stayed together to make this project, the Le Lune and the Populous line as well.
Very nice. The other thing I really like about this brand is the branding. Their little labels are really cool. I feel like all their bottles have like really beautiful graphic patterns, right?
Yeah.
Like they do crazy, and you can almost not even tell like what it is right away, I feel like, because I've seen them on the shelf before too, and you're kind of just like,
well, I was gonna
like
say,
this is a beautiful little
it's
label.
kind of abstract in its own right,
Mm-hmm.
which will speak to, I think, the conversation on making wine in general. There are rules, but then nature's gonna kind of take its course, and it's gonna do what it's gonna do.
Yeah.
Actually, funny enough, they had some Zinfandel that is incredible from it's like 8-year-old vines, dry farm vineyards, so they're just using the only water that's coming from the sky, like no irrigation or anything.
Where do they get the 80-year-old vines?
they go to these different plots.
Oh, like they're all around the world and they like bring them back, or just in North Europe?
No, so in California, there are different plots that have been there for that long. It's fun to look at natural wines, which is basically what these wines were before they were before all the manipulation kind of happened.
Gotcha. So like natural wine would have been kind of a silly thing to say like before a certain time in winemaking, where it's like obviously it's all natural because this is how it is, and then only recently they kind of changed things up, and now we're circling back.
Yeah, this is like 60s, 70s. This is like a look at like 60s and 70s Cab Merlot, Cab Franc in there, a little bit of Cab Franc in there, but it's like mostly it's Cab dominant.
So we're gonna time travel.
We are. Okay. I love that. Yes.
I'm gonna open it.
But yeah, this is so
check
now
my technique on this.
Yeah,
I'm probably not. Yeah, Morgan, can you commentate on my technique?
I think you're doing a great
job. No one's
job.
ever showed me.
No one's showed you.
I've done it wrong a lot of times, and then I've done it right.
I think you're killing it. Honestly, as long as the bottle gets open, that's all that matters.
Here we go.
You gotta get that second hinge now.
The key is the first hinge on the bottle, and then second. Oop. Boink.
But like that was like a looks at mom. Like you're like, did I do it right?
Can I
did
pull
great.
it? You killed it.
But yeah, and so this is cool to look at this project that's, between these friends and kind of just like pooling the resources they had. Sean, his parents had a big basement, so that's where they started out with their wineries, like under their parents' house.
Cool. That's very cool. So did their parents do wine at all? Like where did they get inspired? Like where did they actually know firsthand about like these wines? Like, were they just drinking them after the fact, or they meet old OGs?
We'd have to definitely call them in to get a little bit more on that. I actually don't know their passion story. I do know that being surrounded by these vines, growing up in California, I can't imagine not wanting to participate.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, they made this line, the Le Lune line, and then they also made the Populous line to kind of have a difference of maceration time to élevage. So this is always going to be, the Le Lune line is going to kind of be that sexy, like extended wait time.
So they have
extended
like,
release.
The top of the pyramid is Populous, the top of the pyramid is less Lune. They have all these little wines underneath, different types.
Populous is the kind of the wines that are like young, fresh, drink now. And you can obviously do that with the Le Lune line as well, but the Le Lune kind of speaks to the more kind of elegant, or like the more structured, the longer time in bottling before release, whereas like the Populous line, sometimes they'll just get the grapes, they'll do the pressings, they'll make the wine, and they'll put it out to bottling immediately.
Populous paperback, Les Lune hardcover, right?
Ooh.
Yeah. Also, like, I feel like it's the decorative version of the old historic book, like the really like over the top. Just because you've already read it a million times, you're like, you want the special one now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Salud. So this is
okay.
Grapes coming from these like very, very famous old vineyards in Sonoma and Napa. I mean, that's so good. And I'm not usually drinking Cab because I don't really want like a heavy red. But when you're looking at a wine kind of at just the grapes, you're not looking at all the additives that are going into these wines that are big. You're kind of peeling back the layers to really look at who's in there.
I like the way you're holding that. That's someone who's done it a lot of times can hold a wine glass like this.
I don't know what's going on, why I'm holding it like this, but I'm doing this.
Okay, the bug is it?
He landed on my face,
Yeah.
my arm. And that's because we're drinking natural wine. Nature
Right.
loves nature.
Nature loves it. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So what are like the top 3 flavors that you would say that this is supposed to? Because I'm thinking super juicy plum, like cherry pie.
Cherries, yeah, definitely like dark brooding fruit, like cherries.
Syrupy cherries, like cooked down.
The sweetness is kind of hiding in that like leather jacket.
A maroon leather jacket.
It's got to be maroon.
Can you imagine? A fringed vintage maroon leather jacket that you found in California.
I really like to talk about like the weight of wine as like milk.
Okay.
So if it's like 2%, you're getting this like heavy, cool mouth
See,
experience.
I thought you were about to say like weight of jacket. So I thought we were gonna fall into the jacket thing. This is like, it has to be a chilly night. You gotta have a bonfire.
This to me speaks to the Cab drinker who's had enough and
enough,
who's
they
got
want
all the
everything else.
headaches and is like,
Yeah.
I'm done with that.
They want to
wine.
bring a bottle that all their friends are gonna like and they're not gonna be taxed by.
Exactly.
Overtaxed.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think like on the little break there, we were talking about like labels, just feeling like when you go to a store and you're kind of just shopping like, oh, that label's cute. That's actually fine to do once you go to the right place, You go to Supernatural, you know that Supernatural vets their wines and where they're getting their wines from. And so it's just like this long trajectory of we like these wines,
Right.
we approve these wines all the way to here.
And this is interesting because like my background is in graphic design, so like I understand how they're commissioning different people to create these labels most of the time. Sometimes you can tell that they didn't really pay someone all that much to like do this label.
Ooh.
And to me, I'm always like, that's kind of a red flag. Don't love that,
Yeah.
Also, you can tell sometimes that it's a heartfelt brand, but it might not be like super with the times, but sometimes that's okay. I think you can tell the vibe of the actual people behind the wine, like from the labels, what kinds of things that they prioritize. And I feel like there's arty labels that are minimalist. This is something that I would gravitate towards if I'm like thinking it's going to be, I don't know. I go towards this type of label when I'm in a medium budget. Like I'm like, I want like a nicer, cooler wine. And then this looks approachable, super approachable to me. I'm like, this seems chill. All of my assumptions about labels are completely made up. That's important to note, is that I don't have real knowledge behind it. I am making things up as I go.
You can shop by the label if you're in the right place.
Right.
If you know that you trust the people who are picking the wine, then but and then for me it goes even further. Now I'm like, ooh, what does Popolka mean? And then I kind of dig and I'm like, oh, like that is like the local like regional name in Greece for like grandfathers. Like this is like the classic old man that you see walking down the street. And then we talked about this, knowing that they're working with like biodynamic and organically sourced grapes, and it's kind of speaking to that kind of moon. And Madeline writes all these gorgeous tags.
I do.
So they really do
I write
help
all the
you
tags.
Get an idea. Like for example, most people would look at this and say this is an orange wine.
Not an orange wine.
Not an orange wine.
Not an orange wine.
No, it's a white wine made from a red grape. So this is like what the juice looks like inside of that red grape.
Yeah, so
like this is
judging
good.
by the cover is a great way to find cool wines, unexpected wines.
If you're shopping here, you're good. You're safe.
It's gonna be safe.
Yeah,
for sure. And it's gonna look good. You're gonna bring it to your party or put it on your table at home, and it's gonna be sexy.
Definitely. I love it. Polk Avenue, Popolka. Polk. Come for your Polk. Come to Polk Street for your
305
Popolka.
East Polk.
Amazing. Thanks for having me.
Of course, thanks for having us.
This was so fun.
Thanks for sharing your wine with us. It's Total Wine and like be overwhelmed by options. It's like we've got a lot of options. And just kind of like, have curated them for people and just make it super easy, and it's just really nice. And they're cheap. They are definitely like
we try to
a little
keep them
discounted and
affordable. I mean, like accessible. $29.
Tell me, am I on your mind, on your mind? When you feel it, that's a sign.